I'm fine, brother. Brother, sorry. I'm used to brothers here. Sorry. Are you on already? I'm used to talking to brothers, so everyone is like brother, so okay. Thank you. Okay, maybe you'll start again, and please warn me that now. Yes.
I think we can just go with that. What do you mean? No, we can start again. Brother Ben, how are you?
I'm fine, Jonathan. Greetings from Nairobi. It's getting warm, and many people are traveling to their families to celebrate with the family, the Christmas period. So yes, we are fine. Thank you.
Very good. How warm is it there?
Well, it could be around 30 degrees Celsius now in Nairobi, and even hotter in the coastal area of Kenya. So really warming up. It's been cool months before. We had rainy season. And even in July, it was pretty cold here for our standards. It was like 15 degrees Celsius. It was very, very, cold for our standards here. But now it's warming up. It's a no more currents that the temperatures change in this period of the year, right?
Yeah, Christmas weather for you all.
Right. Yeah.
Well, thank you again for joining the podcast. You are the first two-time guest on the podcast, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Think. Yeah.
I'm humbled.
That was definitely on your 2020 to-do list, I think. So you can cross that one off the list. You wrote a moving essay in the beginning of towards the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic that has been viewed by tens of thousands of people. A message of hope during the coronavirus pandemic. We'll post it in the show notes. But wanted to talk briefly. We have your Advent Hope Reflection that we're going to play later on in the podcast in a few minutes here. But just wanted to talk briefly about how in Advent we're called on to create hope. How do we do that overall? And then how should we do that? It's really hard now, obviously, to be hopeful. It's difficult, of course, with everything going on, especially the pandemic, obviously. So how do we create hope overall, but how do we do that especially now?
Well, thank you for that question, Jonathan. Yes, I'm humbled that I'm appearing here the second time, and indeed our message of hope, especially at the advent of the coronavirus pandemic, was well received, and many people have listened to it. The idea was to make people hopeful, to look forward with optimism, and to know that that is not the end of everything, it's not the end of the world, and to pick up the pieces and soldier on. Yes. We as Christians, we are always hopeful. And even during this time of Advent, the theme for the Global Catholic Climate Movement has been, to hope. And first of all, Christians, we are hoping for the coming of the Messiah, the coming of Jesus on Christmas, which is just about 2 days to come. And we know that when Emmanuel, his name, God with us, comes, we are hopeful that things will be transformed, because Jesus comes to liberate us, to save us, indeed, from the evil past to a new beginning with God. And so the message that we adopted as the Global Catholic Climate Movement is that hopeful moment, hopeful, first of all, to receive the Lord on Christmas, but also to prepare ourselves even for a better future in the coming year, especially as we are hopeful that the vaccine that we hear that is being discovered and it's already being used will reach everyone, will reach both the rich and the poor, those who are far and even near, and everyone will be accessible. And so we have many things to hope for. And indeed, as we go to the next year, 2021, we are hopeful that people will listen to the voice, especially the voice of the Pope, in Laudato Si, indeed, to hear the cry of the earth, our Mother Earth, and the cry of the poor. And we believe that with the lessons we have learned from this pandemic, people will go on knowing that we need to be good stewards of the environment. And the fact that, and even that's Pop speaks about in Laudato Si, that we are interconnected and interrelated. I think the pandemic has taught us that, and we cannot run away. Both the people in the north and in the south and in the west and wherever they are, the east, we were interconnected with the pandemic. All of us are suffering. Someone in New York is just suffering the same way as someone in my local village here in Kenya, in Kakamega. So we are interconnected. And I think we have great lessons to learn from the pandemic and to be hopeful that people, learning from such experiences are able to take climate action and climate justice more seriously, that we have to change our lifestyle, even during this Christmas, how we consuming, then indeed to see how are we reducing our carbon footprint, how are we connected with God and each other through our ecological conversion, and indeed how sustainable are we in the actions that we are taking. So there are many things we can learn from this period, but it was also just to send a message that not all is like finished. We are just starting anew in a different way and in a more hopeful way.
Mm-hmm. A lot to learn from this year and this time.
Sure.
And it is a new decade. So there's another reason to be hopeful if you're thinking about that in terms of like fresh starts and everything. But yeah, a lot to take from what has happened this year. How have you personally gone about creating hope in your community and in your life? Like details, like what do you think is really helping you stay hopeful and helping you be your best self during these times?
Personally, even with the coming of the pandemic, one of our colleagues who happened to come from Italy came and we celebrated Mass, and it was discovered later that he was positive with this coronavirus. And that is when I first encountered directly with the threat of the pandemic. And I knew that being a priest, that I needed to be very strong to give hope to many more people who are suffering around us. And so when during the time that I was in quarantine and even taking the tests, I put first of all prayer and remembering that God is the head of everything. So that is what kept me, prayer, and even just reading the scriptures, and indeed giving a word of hope to others through writing, through the message that we sent, writing about the pandemic and giving people hope. And also what also kept me more is the Eucharist, participating in the Eucharistic celebration, both online. We carried out a lot of, many online masses, Laudato Si masses, that in those, messages that we sent through our homilies, there were messages to encourage people that there is hope, that there is God, and there is faith, there is love, that we are interconnected. And through love, we are able to, to carry each other, to shoulder each other. And in our African culture, we value very much community. And even our philosophies, I am because we are, and since we are, therefore I am. So what makes me who I am as Benedict is more the community that surrounds me, and not just me as Benedict. So even during those difficult times, we were praying together, people will come and will sing together, even from afar. They'll stay at the window and they'll sing, and we pray together. And just to know that, this is something that we are all encountering. Another thing that both, helped me most is that we try to send a message of not stigmatizing those who are, affected by the pandemic or the COVID-19, not to stigmatize them, and to tell them that they'll get better, they'll be healed, and everything will be okay. So even after, being tested negative with COVID, I was able to continue sending the same messages, visiting those who are lonely in their homes, because, like young people could not visit the elderly in their homes. So what we did was to start with the mission, both with the Global Catholic Climate Movement, but also with the Capuchin charities, to visit in one or the other while keeping distance, to visit and give messages of encouragement, especially to those who are lonely, elderly and others, to give them hope. And generally also is to see the positive aspects that have come with the pandemic, because we see our environment has improved in the city, for example, Nairobi city here. We saw with the reduction of traffic in our cities, we see now the birds are flying and singing in the morning. You won't see the matatus, the public transport, polluting much because they're few. And also we saw that people are more connected online because there were, people joining our prayer services, people joining our initiatives, especially the Laudato Si week, when we celebrated the 5th anniversary of Laudato Si, the season of creation. Many people joined in our Advent retreat recently, which was based on hope indeed. Many people joined. So we saw there were more positive things that encouraged people. And I think that message of hope has both helped me personally and many more people that we have reached, both online, but also the events that we have been organizing here in Africa.
And it is, like you said, people are coming together more than ever, and it's easier to come together.
Yes,
more than ever
indeed,
as well.
Yeah.
So, how will you celebrate Christmas?
Yes, Christmas, since we fear to travel to our homes because some of our parents are elderly. We are not going to go there, in person to celebrate as family, like, the usual thing we do. What we are going to do as GCCM Africa and even the Capuchin charities that we work very closely, we are going to distribute some gifts and especially food to the homeless in Nairobi and in slums. We have already started that last week. And so with our volunteers and others, we are going to different homes, especially those who are lonely in their homes, to give them some to share with them whatever we have for Christmas. But also we'll be praying together, the small groups that we have. And we probably have an online mass, Christmas mass, indeed, to share with those who are stuck in their homes. We're also working very closely with the media, especially the Capuchin television network, and also with the Radio Maria to, again, send messages of hope and helping people to feel at home with the entertainment and other ways. So that is how we're gonna celebrate Christmas, in GCCM and also the Capuchin charities here in Kenya.
Delivering hope just in time for Christmas.
Yes.
And
yes,
holidays.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you again, Brother Ben. I will let you get going. I know you have a busy stretch ahead, but thank you again for joining, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas to you and to everyone who will be listening, and we wish you all God's blessing. Laudato Si. Thank you.